We have an important topic to discuss today: happiness, the brain, and dopamine. Do you ever wonder if happiness is truly absolute or if it's just a matter of perspective? Wouldn't it be ideal if we had more control over our happiness? What's the difference between intrinsic happiness and extrinsic happiness? Would you like to have more control over your own happiness and your own destiny? If so, join me as we dive into a discussion of happiness, both relative and absolute. We'll also discuss the impact that the important neurotransmitter dopamine has on the brain and our happiness. To begin, let me share two thought-provoking stories which will challenge our understanding of happiness and discuss their relevance as to what we might do to improve our own sense of internal peace and contentment. Understanding the dynamics of happiness is crucial for everyone in society, and it touches upon the core of our existence and our well-being. This topic becomes especially pertinent for individuals recovering from a traumatic brain injury, also known as a TBI. For them, the journey toward happiness may require an emotional recalibration as they adjust to a new life in which cognitive, physical, emotional, and behavioral function has changed. As we navigate the challenges and triumphs of life, recognize the difference between happiness that comes from external events and that which is fostered within us can be transformative. For those with traumatic brain injury or TBI, this understanding is even more critical. It becomes a vital part of their healing process, offering a pathway to rediscover joy and contentment in a new reality. Exploring the nature of happiness helps to build resilience and adaptability, not only for TBI sufferers and survivors, but for everyone, highlighting the universal importance of finding inner peace and satisfaction amidst life's ever-changing circumstances. Welcome back, my fellow seekers of wisdom and truth. I'm Dr. Gary Kraus, a neurosurgeon and founder of the Kraus TBI Institute in Houston, Texas. Let's dive into the intriguing realm of happiness and explore the dichotomy between absolute and relative happiness. Join me on this important journey as we discuss two powerful stories which will serve as examples which will help us to gain valuable insights for our own lives. First, the story of the turtle. A few years ago, on a hot summer day in Houston, Texas, I was driving and I encountered a turtle along the side of the road. I made a U-turn and stopped, got out of the car to see if I could help. But unfortunately, it was clear. The turtle had been recently run over by a car and was dead. Of course, I was saddened by the situation. But as I drove away, I thought about it. Here it was, a scorching hot Houston summer day. The asphalt on the road was certainly very hot. I was wondering if maybe half an hour earlier, the turtle and perhaps a friend of his, a companion turtle, might have been crossing the road. They had been very unhappy at the time because the road was extremely hot and hurting the pads of their feet. On the other hand, it was this very hot road that may have caused the other turtle to run quickly to get to the other side of the road and avoid being hit by the car. The surviving turtle, although sad that his friend had died, was happy and appreciative that the road was so hot because it made him move more quickly to get across the road to the other side. What made the turtle unhappy just a few minutes ago, being unhappy about such a hot road, now caused the turtle to be happy and grateful because it was that scorching hot road which caused him to scurry across and saved his life. So, the initial perception of the turtle being unhappy changed to thankfulness and happiness later. It's actually that scorching road that made the turtle quickly that saved his life. This is relative happiness. Isn't that true of much of our lives? Don't we all experience that on a day-to-day basis? Next, let's discuss a story of a student who was unhappy about receiving a C for a grade. Now, once upon a time, there was a diligent student who anxiously awaited his final grade after taking the final exam for a challenging course. When he discovered that he received a C as his final grade, his initial reaction was one of disappointment and unhappiness. But that's where the plot thickens. Just moments later, he learned that he was the only one in the entire class who had passed. While everyone else had failed, he was the only one that passed. So suddenly, his unhappiness about the grade of C was transformed into joy and elation. His grade hadn't changed. Nothing changed. But when he learned he was the only one in the class who passed, his disappointment and sadness was replaced by happiness over the grade of C. Again, nothing changed on his grade, just the external circumstances. So this story serves as another powerful reminder that happiness can often be relative. Our sense of contentment and satisfaction is frequently influenced by external factors and the comparison to others. However, shouldn't we strive for something more profound? Shouldn't we seek absolute happiness that is independent of external circumstances? Let's embrace the idea that true happiness lies within ourselves instead of relying on external validation or comparing our achievements to those of others. We should focus on doing our best and finding contentment in our own efforts. Absolute happiness is not dependent on the success or happiness of others, but rather on our own sense of personal growth and fulfillment. Let's remember that true happiness is not found in the fleeting moment of a comparison with others, but in our ability to find contentment within ourselves. Let's strive for absolute happiness by doing our best, embracing our uniqueness, and nurturing our own well-being. As we embark on this quest for happiness, it should not be in relation to others, but it should be our own deeply personal and fulfilling journey. Once we're able to understand and accomplish this, we become much more self-sufficient in determining our destiny. If our happiness is dependent mainly on the comparison, results, statements, recognition, and appreciation of others, then the control of our own happiness depends mainly on others. That's a lot of power which we have given away to others, since our own internal happiness and contentment is crucial to our daily functioning. I'm not saying we shouldn't appreciate recognition and compliments of others. Certainly we should. But our main guide for our own destiny should come from within each of us. So let's strive for the kind of happiness that comes from within us, not from what's happening around us. It's important to be happy with ourselves, no matter what others are doing or what's going on. We should be proud of trying our best, even if we don't get the highest grade or aren't the fastest at doing something. This kind of happiness is steady and strong because it doesn't depend on others or things we can't control. It's about being okay with who we are and what we do. This internal happiness is stable, it's empowering, because it's based on self-acceptance and inner peace. It's the joy of knowing you've done your best, even if it's not the best by other standards. So let's try to find that inner happiness that stays within us no matter what's happening outside. So let's talk a bit about mindfulness. This is where mindfulness comes in. It's a way of being present and engaged in the moment, aware of our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness teaches us to appreciate the here and now, and not to get too caught up in what others are doing or what might happen next. It helps us cultivate a sense of inner calm and contentment, making our happiness less dependent on things outside our control. Philosophically, this approach aligns with the idea that we are masters of our own destiny. By finding contentment within ourselves, we gain control over our personal journey, steering our own ship regardless of the external forces. Psychologically, this internal contentment provides a foundation of emotional resilience. It means our well-being isn't tossed around by every wave or circumstance or comparison with others. Now, achieving this inner happiness allows us to experience life more fully, to embrace its ups and downs with a steady heart. And it's not about ignoring the outside world or other people, but about finding a balanced perspective where our happiness is primarily drawn from our own self-worth and our achievements. In essence, cultivating internal happiness is a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. It teaches us to value our own experiences and perspectives, leading to a more fulfilling and contented life. This path to inner happiness, it's not always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding, offering a more stable and enduring sense of joy, less subject to the whims of external forces. However, the pursuit of absolute happiness calls for a paradigm shift. It requires us to seek contentment that's not swayed by external factors or comparative measures. Absolute happiness is about finding joy and satisfaction within ourselves, irrespective of how others fare or what circumstances befall us. It's about appreciating our efforts, cherishing our journey, and valuing our own well-being, independent of external validations or comparisons. This form of happiness is steadfast. It's rooted in acceptance of oneself and inner peace. And when striving for absolute happiness, we cultivate a mindset that fosters resilience and self-contentment. It encourages us to focus on personal growth, to cherish our unique journey, and to find joy in our own achievements and our own experiences. By detaching our sense of happiness from external circumstances, we can achieve a consistent, fulfilling sense of well-being. This journey towards absolute happiness is not just a path to greater emotional stability. It's a celebration of our individuality and an embrace of our inner strength. It's a reminder that true happiness lies within our own grasp, waiting to be realized and cherished. Now, let's discuss dopamine. One important component of happiness within our minds is dopamine. Dopamine's a neurotransmitter in the brain. A neurotransmitter is basically a substance which is released by one nerve cell in the brain and picked up by another, allowing nerves to basically communicate or talk with each other. Dopamine plays a significant role in our experience of happiness, including both absolute and relative happiness, as well as internal peace and satisfaction. Dopamine may be thought of as a feel-good neurotransmitter. It's associated with the pleasure and reward systems in the brain, influencing how we experience joy, satisfaction, and motivation. Here's how dopamine ties into the concepts of absolute versus relative happiness. First, relative happiness. Dopamine levels can be influenced by external stimuli and achievements. For instance, receiving praise, achieving a goal, or even getting a like on social media can trigger the release of dopamine, leading to effects of happiness. This happiness is relative because it depends on external factors and comparisons with others. However, this dopamine-driven joy is usually short-lived and can lead to a cycle of seeking constant external validation for happiness. Second, absolute happiness. Absolute happiness, on the other hand, is more about long-term contentment and inner peace. Activities that promote absolute happiness, such as mindfulness, meditation, engaging in meaningful work, or hobbies, also stimulate the release of dopamine, but in a more sustained and internally focused way. These activities encourage the brain to find joy in the present moment and in the intrinsic value of experiences, rather than relying on external validation or comparison. Third, internal peace and satisfaction. Practices that foster internal peace, like mindfulness and gratitude, can influence the brain's dopamine pathways positively. They help in recalibrating our dopamine response, making us less dependent on external stimuli for pleasure. This means we start finding more joy in simple, everyday experiences, cultivating a deeper, more lasting sense of satisfaction and contentment. Fourth, dopamine and resilience. High levels of internal happiness and contentment can make us more resilient to life's ups and downs. A well-regulated dopamine system contributes to emotional stability, reducing the impact of negative external stimuli on our mood and overall happiness. In summary, while dopamine plays a crucial role in both absolute and relative happiness, the pursuit of absolute happiness and internal peace involves nurturing activities and mindsets that lead to a more balanced and consistent release of dopamine. This helps in reducing our dependency on external factors for happiness and fosters a deeper sense of long-term fulfillment and contentment. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of happiness. I hope this story has sparked a newfound sense of self-reflection and inspired you to seek happiness on your own terms. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. Remember to subscribe to my channel and join our community to receive more thought-provoking content. Also, don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Until next time, may you find absolute happiness within yourself. Stay curious, stay enlightened, stay positive, stay dedicated, and be kind to others. Thanks for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.